Hi there. Welcome back to Talkin' Tankless. I'm Andrew from the marketing team, and today we've got special guests Ryan and Jason here on the podcast for the first one of the year. We've been busy at work on new products and promotions going on, and we'll get a chance to touch a little bit on everything today. But first, maybe let's do a quick introduction so the audience knows who we're talking to. Let's kind of maybe your role at Noritz and maybe how long you've been with the company.
I'll go ahead and start off. Okay. My name's Ryan Zimmerman. Been with the company for 14 years now. Done a handful of different things for the sales department. Currently the regional sales manager of Southern California. Run a team of 8 people, along with an agency as well. But yeah, 14 years.
Okay, how about you, Jason?
All right, Jason Fleming. I'm the Executive Vice President and General Manager. I've been with the company for going on 18 years here in the next month, so it's been a long ride.
Yeah, so we've got some industry veterans on board here with us today. So, speaking of industry, um, what are some of the industry news? We've all gotten a chance to now attend at least one trade show this year, and I would say this year we've been able to sort of reconnect at the shows again. Is there anything in particular either of you have been hearing the buzz about?
Yeah, I think that there's some common buzzes, and I think we'll dive into a couple of the common ones in a little bit. But I think from Norit's perspective, we are seeing a drastic increase in high efficiency 2-inch vent products. I think that there's a lot of reasons that are driving this increase, but majority of it is just increasing the efficiency. Our premix product, as we call it, has 2-inch vent. That makes it a lot easier for the installation process. It also has top mount water connections, and that really helps save in the installation costs as well as time for the installer. So, seeing a big increase in those materials.
What about you, Ryan? Any kind of buzz in particular?
Definitely agree with everything Jason said. Definitely seeing a bigger push on the efficiency on the commercial side of our business. So a lot of apartments, restaurants, laundromats, things that require a lot of hot water, and which we'll get into some new product that we're developing and coming out with that help answer those needs. So
I know I've been seeing personally, seeing and hearing a lot about heat pumps. What are your kind of thoughts on heat pumps, or have you heard or seen anything firsthand out in the market about either the demand or the opinion on them?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said on heat pumps, depending on where you're. We're based in Southern California, obviously a warmer weather climate, so we hear a lot. There's a lot of cities and counties and municipalities that are trying to push, that stance of electrification, and that heat pump is. It's a growing market. I mean, it's from years ago. It was much smaller, and now it's becoming a larger part of the overall share. The effectiveness of the product, I think, varies in the climate in which it's in. The colder the climate, maybe it's not as effective, whereas the warmer the climate, there could be some other features and benefits that it provides as a secondary air conditioning type of a solution and things like that. So it's becoming bigger. I definitely don't think it's the primary by any stretch, but something that we're interested in, we're looking into, and something that we want to make sure that we're paying close attention to.
Yeah, the trade show I attended, I feel like that was kind of the buzzword. Everyone was trying to at least show off like concept products about heat pumps.
HR, we felt like it was the heat pump mini split show. So we definitely saw a fair share from the common brands that we're aware of to all the different kinds of companies that were coming in with.
Yeah, for me, I would almost compare them to electric vehicles to the car market, or maybe something like AI to tech companies. The demand and interest really drives the market, and manufacturers are kind of forced to listen and kind of follow the market. Otherwise, you might be kind of seen as behind while their competitors are trying to fill that space in the demand. So
Yep. I think that there's it's a different installation, right? I mean, there's electric qualities that a traditional plumbing installer may not deal with when you're talking about high voltage. So um, it's a different installation, and I think there's learning that's going on from the contractor side, installer side, manufacturing side. Um, Noritz is a manufacturer of natural gas tankless water heaters, and that's what we do. So we're really pushing that story across the United States, and we still feel like, at a very minimum, from the retrofit side, that we haven't scratched the surface when it comes to those. So still lots of opportunity when it comes to natural gas tankless installs.
So speaking of natural gas electrification, I think another hot topic we've been seeing are these cities, counties, states even that are trying to maybe perhaps ban natural gas. What are you seeing or hearing in the industry so far?
Yeah, it's coming from top down. It's all over the state of California. It's really impacting the new construction market today. So single family, multifamily homes are looking at just strictly electricity only coming into the building, which really leaves you with only three options today that I'm aware of. You got electric tanks, you have the heat pumps, which is a tank with a fan coil, and then you have an electric tankless. But using electricity in order to heat water is truly just not the best method. We all know gas is the best way to heat water. It's the most efficient way to do it, and it seems as though we're forced to look at other alternatives, unfortunately. But at the same time, it creates another opportunity for us to grow and continue to find new ways to fulfill people's hot water needs. So,
And I think it's interesting too. I mean, like, Berkeley city area was one of the first markets to adapt electrification, and I think it's very interesting with their early adoption of it. Now they're the first to kind of have that come full circle and having kind of an uprising of fighting back, saying, hey, there may be benefits, but there's also disadvantages. And some of that is, the cultural disadvantages of the way people cook, or the way that they're traditionally used to using, the natural gas products. And so I think that we're going to see a lot of the markets that are really pushing to electrify are now starting to come full circle and fight back and say, hey, we want to have that choice. We want to know, we want to have the ability to say, it's my choice to how I, utilize how I'm going to heat water, or how I'm going to cook, or whatever. So I think that we're still not sure of how everything's going to play out, but we're definitely seeing changes as we go. And I think that even in the Berkeley market, they are it's not done. They're fighting back. They kind of reversed the ban, but that's going to be taken to New York and then ultimately possibly go into the Supreme Court. So I don't think we're
So
done.
just to touch on that, and I guess for others that may not know that are listening. So Berkeley, California, are you saying was this like a few years ago? I heard they were trying to completely ban it.
I think that they were successful
Oh, it
in
was
in
actually went
banning
through.
it, and then just recently we heard that there was some wins, if you will, about the reversal of that win, and then now it's being taken to a higher court, I think in New York, and then ultimately, if there's not resolved, then it would go to the Supreme Court.
Does this affect contractors? I guess in their daily work, or how does this affect them?
100%. Well, because it's different technology, right? They're used to grabbing their wrench, grabbing their gas pipe, grabbing their, all the equipment that they need in order to install the gas appliances that typically go into homes, and also that fail in homes that need to be replaced through the years. And so now they're being forced to either look at other alternatives to supply, because a part of that ban was that they were going to outlaw any distribution of gas appliances in that city, is what the rule was, which would force people to look go outside of the market in order to bring the product in illegally, or comply, right? Not every house has 220. Not every house is equipped to supply electricity for all these new appliances, which was going to be a big rendering for most homeowners. So it is something that contractors are reaching out and trying to find ways to supply customers with an answer on this. For training purposes, they need to know exactly what they're up against. But yeah, they're looking for education every day for more and more information.
And Andrew, I think that the part that's unknown still is it's kind of the American way when you take the choice away from Americans to say it has to be this way, that they find solutions on their own. So I think that it's still yet to be seen on how people ultimately decide that they want to move forward. I think propane is an option that people still have. You know, if you're living traditionally, propane is used in sometimes rural markets. But if somebody wants to put a tank in their backyard and run their home off of propane, they have that option. So I think it's just yet to be seen on the actual impact of all of these decisions.
Definitely, yeah, it's a hot topic and something we're definitely keeping our eye on. So, one thing I like about this format is about having this podcast is being able to inform our plumbers and contractors on changes in the industry that you might not get wind of, namely the energy efficiency requirements for rebates. Maybe rebates amounts have changed for federal tax credits. Could one of you maybe shed a little bit of light on that?
So for the state of California, we have several rebates that are available for both the homeowner and also for contractors. Starting off with the commercial rebate program, it's what we call the midstream program. It's offered through all three gas companies, so SDG&E, SoCalGas, and PG&E. It's a equipment rebate that typically comes off on the front end when you bought the equipment. All they need is basic information in order to comply, and the equipment cost gets dramatically reduced. Using as an example, one of our largest heaters, it's called the NCC 300. It's a 300,000 BTU condensing model, one of a kind in the market. The rebate on it is so big to the point where the equipment is truly almost free, which is a no-brainer for some of these restaurants and apartments and different places. But there's also, beyond that rebate, there is residential rebates, which are available for the Southern California Gas Company users, and which start off at $1,000 for anything 95% efficient or higher, which is all of our condensing models that use 2-inch PVC, as Jason mentioned before, with pumps, without pumps. But our Easy series seems to fit that role very well. And then along with that comes a $600 federal tax credit. Now, the federal tax credit is available in all markets, in all places. Again, the requirement is a 95% efficiency or higher, and that is what they consider the Energy Star approved product.
So that's changed, right? Because before the requirement, I believe, was 0.87 or something like that.
Correct. So through the years, they've continued to increase that bar. Like on our non-condensing models, it's a 8.2 efficiency. In the Southern California Gas Company rebate program for that, it's $80. Not a whole lot, but it is something to give back to the homeowners. With that, does not come with, of course, doesn't come with a federal tax credit, but that's what's driving the engine. That's what's driving the contractors, driving the homeowners to look at how can I put something in my home that's going to give me more for efficiency, also with warranty, because like I mentioned, the Easy series, that's a 25-year warranty, and that's hands down leaps and bounds better than anything else in the industry. But with a 25-year warranty, $1,000 rebate to the homeowner, $600 federal tax credit, again, we're talking about chewing away at that cost of the installation and also at the cost of the equipment.
Right. So seeing the updated Energy Star requirements that kind of bumped efficiency, it's pushing it straight to our flagship products, right? That meet that requirement, that get you that $600 federal tax credit. Can you name those that our products qualify for that credit?
Absolutely. So any of the Easy series, so that would be Easy 98, Easy 111. Also in that same family would be the Easy TR 50. And the Easy TR 75. The Easy TRs are the bundle kits, which are ready to go installed right in the same location where your existing tank type water heaters are, with the faster, quicker installation. And then we also can use the NRCR models. NRCR models are also our flagship heater. That heater qualifies for a 15-year rebate. 15-year warranty. But at the same time, it has a recirculation pump built into it to allow you quicker, faster hot water in your home, regardless if you have a return line or without a return line.
And then to throw it in there, I believe our commercial model also, the NCC 199 CDV also
Correct. So
applies to that.
it's built off the same platform, all stainless steel heat exchangers, 96% efficiency. Actually has a 97% thermal efficiency, but a 96 UEF rating, and absolutely it qualifies for that $1,000 rebate, along with the $600 federal tax credit.
And Andrew, just to throw it in, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, obviously the rebates that are applicable to those products are awesome. The NRCR, we just launched our new Wi-Fi app to that product as well. So wanted to make sure to throw that in there, just because it's not only does it qualify for the rebate, but it also has that great Wi-Fi app that we have launched. So.
Yeah, that's great. That's a personal project of mine. So that app allows you to schedule your recirc pump to a certain time, or kind of see the schedule and change it in the settings on the NRCR. So if you have an NRCR, check out the Wi-Fi adapter. It's a great companion app for that unit. Now, as far as the kind of talk about efficiency changes, rebates, and stuff like that, we have a whole comprehensive blog post, and I'll post a link on that. So check the video description if you're watching on YouTube, or our show notes if you're listening in. All right, moving on to our last topic here, I want to touch on the latest product release. At AHR in Atlanta, we unveiled our latest product offering, which is a tankless with storage combination called the Hybrid Hot. Could one of you give me a little summary of what it is?
Yeah, I'll start it off, and Ryan, you can throw in if I miss anything. But basically, we've combined a tankless water heater, our commercial unit, our NCC 199, with a tank, and giving us the benefits of both. And I think that the application that this product really fits well in is a restaurant application that has a large dump of hot water at one time, where the washing machine, or what I'm trying to say, the dishwasher. Thank you. The dishwasher typically uses a large dump at one time, and you can utilize that tank. The tankless refills it, keeping it the temperature nice and consistent. And the footprint is relatively the same as a pretty commonly used Cyclone product. And I think that we can do it at a price advantage out in the market. So definitely something to take a look at.
Yeah, it's to play off that is Hybrid Hot was truly built for that commercial application, whether it's multifamily apartments or a restaurant, like Jason said. Restaurants are amazing because of the fact that it's not going to utilize a whole lot more space than what you currently have. With tankless, just strictly tankless, it would require typically 3 to 4 units, which requires more space. And that is the disadvantage. Now you have multiple heaters with multiple vents. This heater vents with 2-inch PVC, so you'll have one vent go out versus an existing tank type water heater like the other brand mentioned uses 3-inch PVC. But the warranty, I think the warranty outside of the price point would be a huge selling feature for us. We're at 10 years on our tank and also on our tankless water heater. This tank that's on this unit is built for life. It is it's something that's tried and true. It's been in the industry for a long time, and will continue to supply hot water for a building or for a restaurant without having any problems with health departments. Or
we are using that cement line tank, which, like you mentioned, I mean, the lifespan of that product is forever. So it's a little bit heavier, but I think that if you're going to lift a huge tank in, you're going to be wheeling it in anyway. But I think that the lifespan advantage of that product really outweighs any challenges that you might have. So,
right, I think that's one of the kind of more interesting things as I was learning about the product in the trainings. So typically in a storage tank, there's like an anode rod or something in there
Correct.
that over time corrodes, and then could also corrode the inside lining of the storage tank, which causes it to fail, right? And
this product doesn't even have an anode rod, so we don't have to worry about that.
And since it's cement lined and the heating elements, heating components are external, essentially the vessel could just last forever, pretty much.
There's no stress on the vessel itself. Yeah.
And if there is a failure down the line, you just swap out the tankless and you could still keep going.
Or a component of the tankless.
Right.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right. So I guess, for the listeners to understand the product category, or maybe even the direct competitor, if they're like replacing one of these like Could you like maybe you said the Cyclone? Are there a couple others in that same category?
So the Cyclone is probably the biggest, takes up the biggest space as far as that commercial product, right? And just apples for apples, our product's slightly shorter, same width, so it will fit in the same location as existing Cyclone. But a commercial tank water heater, at 199, 100 gallon is really what this thing goes after. It can also be used in large residential applications if the need be, because there is some benefits to it for a residential property. But at the end of the day, it's a commercial tank competitor, and it will definitely open some eyes when people get a chance to see it. It's got a separate port for the return, 3/4 report. Tapped into the side of the tank already. It's got 1.5 inlet outlet for water coming and going. But the other thing is the heat recovery. So the pump that we have on our heater, which recirculates from our unit back into the tank, is actually larger than anything else in the market, which gives us a quicker heat recovery, which allows to have more hot water in a quicker period of time. But like Jason mentioned, it's all about the dump. As far as the commercial application, this thing will give you 119 gallons of 140-degree hot water right now, and there's nothing else that you can do to get that same effect.
And I think that it's something else I didn't think about when I first saw the product was that, a lot of times that they're using multiple tanks for large commercial applications. These can be connected together, and you can replace one that's existing. And then as those ones go bad, you can, replace to put a hybrid hot where an old tank once was. So I think the opportunities in the commercial applications are endless, and I think that it's a great one to at least look at offering a good, better, best solution when it comes to commercial applications.
I think one of the cool features that we haven't mentioned here that the engineering team kind of showed me was I think it's kind of like an elephant nose thing that feeds into the storage tank. Could you kind of touch on that?
It's part of the design on when the water is sent back into the tank from the tankless unit, and it actually forces the water to rise up in the top of the tank, and it circulates. So it allows that water to travel through the top of the tank quicker, which allows it to be ready for the delivery going out of the property or going out of the heater into the property. But yeah, it's, like I said, our engineering team, like you mentioned, they've done a very good job in developing this product. They've thought of everything that we can potentially need or want to make, these businesses, more profitable at the same time, utilize some of the benefits that we're able to provide.
And you want to touch on the warranty one more time?
Yeah, so 10 years on the tank itself, and also 10 years on the heat exchangers of this water heater, all fully stainless steel, 97% efficient thermal efficiency. That also qualifies, like I mentioned before, as that rebate program. It's $1,300 roughly, a little bit over that. That again comes right off the front end of the purchase of the product when you buy it at the supply house.
Great. So if you'd like to find out more about the hybrid hot, be sure to visit our website at www.noritz.com/hybridhots.
And those are being stocked locally, so we want to make sure that people know that they're available. So make sure you're asking about it in the local supply houses.
Great. Well, that's about it for this one. I'd like to thank Jason and Ryan for jumping in and giving us a little insight on industry news. As always, our show notes are available at www.noritz.com/podcast. Follow our socials at instagram.com/NoritzAmerica and youtube.com/NoritzAmerica. We'll catch you on the next Talkin' Tankless.